Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rukak Radash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawada from the Men of Valor campaign, Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video on sincerity and in truth, and Lord willing, it can be edifying. All right, and got a very interesting article right here. All right, this whole Ep-stein thing unfolding has been the talk, which we know, then, they're going to need a big distraction soon. And that major distraction may very well be that the least of the flock shall draw them out into World War III. And, Israel goes ahead and does a preemptive strike on Iran. All right, it's yet to be seen. But right now, everybody's still processing just the absolute profanity of the Edomite male. Okay, that's what's being revealed right now. All right, so we're gonna read into this. We're gonna bring out a couple scriptures. Lord willing, to be edifying. All right, this is an interesting article. This is from zeroheads.com. Ep-stein, Western decline, and the moral collapse of the elites. And that's a good title for a video. For the video. So I'm gonna end up titling the video that Ep-stein, Western decline, and the moral collapse of the elites. January 2026 marks a rupture. If that ain't the truth. It is no longer possible to treat the Ep-stein case as a sexual scandal involving powerful individuals. What has now come to light, all right, and that's spiritual. The Lord is bringing this to light. All right, this is the doing of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah through and through. Okay, and the last video I did, was that this devil would be revealed in his time, man. We're in the time where this devil's being revealed. All right, so until they take us off the internet, we're going to keep bringing it out on these damn devils, man. All right, because now they're exposed. They've hid themselves for decades. All right, they've spent, billions of dollars trying to separate themselves from, you see how they talk to it. They call you Goyim and all that shit, man. All right, but now, all right, what they didn't plan for, the Lord, the Spirit is on the Lord is putting the Spirit on the earth of exposing these devils, man. And it starts with his prophets. All right, we've been exposing a lot of these things that we're finding out this devil does behind closed doors. We knew through the Spirit. We just couldn't necessarily, but the Lord knew it. Now he's bringing it out. All right, but let's continue on. It says, what has now come to light, documents, images, records, explicit connections, has pushed the debate to another level. This is no longer about abuses, excuses, or individual crimes. What has been exposed points to systemic, organized, ritualized practices, and that changes everything. Woo! For years, the public was conditioned to accept narrative and ambiguity. There was always doubts, always a lack of definitive proof, always a call for caution. That time is over, exactly. The material release leaves no room for Lord, ingenuousness. Yeah. When evidence emerges of extreme violence against children, of practices that go beyond any conventional criminal category, the discussion ceases to be legal and becomes civilizational. All right? What is at stake is no longer who visited the island or who caught a ride to Epstein's plane. What is at stake is the fact that the network of this kind only exists when they are backed by deep institutional protection. Exactly. There is no ritual pedophilia, no human trafficking on transnational scale, no systemic production of extreme material without political, police, judicial, and media cover. Exactly. This is not conspiracy. It is the logic of power. Okay? And they tried to blame the left, they tried to blame the right. It's all of them. And what's really fucking these lower level Edomites' mind up is they thought that Trump was like the good guy. No, he's up there. He's one of the main bad guys. And that's the Lord. That's part of the Lord setting the Egyptian against the Egyptian. 2 Ezra 15, where they should not regard their kings nor princes. All right, the average Edomite ain't really fucking with, unless they're getting along. They cool with that because they believe in that because that's their mind because they're Edomite. But you have actual families that are being, that are at odds with each other right now because of what's going on with ICE, because of what's going on with Trump, all right, and his allegiance to Israel. You got some hardcore Americans that see this and they don't know how to process it. And they're going to process it the only way they can, which is violence. And it's going to be violence toward Jake. You know? It says, from this point on, the West can no longer hide behind the idea of gradual decline. It is not merely cultural degeneration or loss of value. It is something deeper. An elite that operates outside the recognizable moral limits and yet continue to govern. People directly or indirectly involved with this world continue to decide elections, wars, economic policies, and the fate of an entire societies. Another decisive element is that we still do not know who is behind the leak. This uncertainty is central. It may be moved by Donald Trump or by sectors aligned with him, attempted to definitively destroy their internal enemies and reorganize power in the United States in a minimally positive direction. It may be the opposite. A controlled release of material intended to pressure Trump into serving the interests of the Democrats and the deep state. He is the damn deep state, man. Like what? Like they always try to make him seem like he's existing outside of the realm of the system that has been already established. No, he's a part of it. He's very much a part of it. It says, in the uncomfortable truth, impossible to ignore, is that all this may still be part of an even deeper and more macabre plan by the deep state, encompassing both Democrats and Republicans to resolve the Ep-stein issue through a brutal campaign of collective desensitization. Desensitization, normalizing in public opinion the idea that the Western elite is composed of pedophiles, Satanists, and cannibals. This reinforces a critical point. The truth only came out because it stopped being useful to keep it hidden. For decades, all of this was known behind the scenes. The silence was not the result of investigative failure, but of a high-level decision. The press stayed silent, the agency stayed silent, the court stayed silent. The system worked exactly as it was supposed to, all in order to protect itself. Western societies now face a dilemma that cannot be resolved through elections, parliamentary commissions, or encouraging speeches. How can one continue to accept the authority of institutions that shielded this level of horror? How can respect be maintained for the laws applied selectively by people who live above them? How can one speak of Western values after this? Exactly. That's the entire point. You've reached a point of no return where, your elections don't count. They don't, man, and they're asking the tough questions. They're genuinely asking the very hard questions of how people assume society was supposed to run. All right, the Lord has completely lifted the lid off of it. And now people are dealing with the reality that everything is pretty much controlled by, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. We knew this, though. Now everybody else is catching up. Let's get this. This is Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe unto them, meaning destruction, death. Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. All right? How was they given that power? The earth was given to them by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. The Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men. All right, and he setteth up one and taketh down another. Hey, 444, call out Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. All right, we're in the time of the Lord's mercy bestowed upon his elect because, hey, this world is ruled by Satan, man. We need that divine protection. Ephesians 6 and 12, man. Hey, we're in spiritual warfare, and it's getting heavy. All right, but these powers that be, all right, the secret counsel, hey, King David wrote the psalm about it. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. That's these devils, man. We already knew this, and now the world is finding out. The Lord is bringing it all to light, man, and it's beautiful. It says when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. They have the authority to do it. So going back to the article, they have the system set up. They have everything set up to keep this shit hush-hush. He can operate. Jake ain't had no damn islands flying, chicks out and shit. No, man, he had a whole system set up. You get a motherfucker on an island, you can isolate them. And plus, it doesn't act under a country's law or some shit. I don't know the legalities of it, but like, they set this shit up, and that might just be one of many islands, man. I'm pretty sure the system is still churning. They just had Ep-stein as the front runner, man. All right, but you think he was the first freak? Hell no. Verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. And so they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. You know? So that's how they operate. That's how these guys operate, man. All right, what else is there to say? That's how we know they're gonna take the internet down. You know, eventually the internet will go bye-bye. You know, these are the times that we're in. The famine of hearing the word of Yahweh Bashim Awashai, man. We're in absolutely beautiful times. These are enemies. Hey, I'm gonna finish with that. Sirach chapter 25 and verse 7. There be 9 things that I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. Who is our number one enemy? Amalek is our number one enemy. Esau is our enemy, but Amalek is the number one enemy. All right, and they're being exposed now. So now they're going to have to switch shit up. Now they're going to try to impose their will. Now we're in the Revelation 12 and 12 spirit, where this devil's going to come down having great wrath, knowing that he had but a short time. He knows his time is short now. So now he gonna pull all the stops. You know, they setting up these concentration camps. They're setting up this data center, these data centers. They're setting up their NWO. They're going to try to, but the Lord is going to disappoint them. But we are in the time where they're about. We've been waiting on Esau to pull the trigger, and now he's about to do it, man, because he's getting exposed. All right, so I just want to bring that out through the spirit. Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Till next time, Shalom.